Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Babies with Knives. I'm your hostess, Alice Peng, aka Lala Twiddle on the boards. With me is my ever-present co-host, Brandon Powers.
Howdy, howdy.
This evening, we are going to be making characters for Modest Medusa, the Magical Land of Yeld. This is an RPG designed for the ability to play with children. It is a family game, very much so. You can play, adults have plenty of fun and kids have plenty of fun. We say this because we've actually played it as adults and not had any children at the table yet, though. The game itself is designed on the premise that it is gearing towards introducing children to the world of tabletop RPGs. So, you are real-world kids entering this when you build your character. And you will somehow find your way to the magical land of Yeld, either through a doorway or a special portal, or however the GM ends up doing so. The magical land of Yeld itself is a Narnia crossed with Final Fantasy type world. The system for the classes, and they dictate it as jobs when you level it up, it very much has a Final Fantasy feel, while the setting itself also has a lot of Narnian elements. This is a step away and step off of this company's other project by Jake Richmond and Nick Smith, which is a comic book called Modest Medusa, where a Medusa finds herself moving from the magical land of Yeld and appearing in our real world and becoming adopted by a family with kids. And she comes through a portal that somehow ended up in their toilet. So, we're going to be making characters for tomorrow. We're going to be sticking with classes that we played in a previous preview that you can find on Banff. I will make sure to link that in the description for everyone. Brandon, why don't you get us started?
Okay, so in the past adventure, I played Alice's character's dog named Sassafras, or Sassy for short. I was a young dog that was only 7 years old, the youngest in the group. Today, I'm going to be randomizing my age, as is part of character creation. So the first part of making friends, since our characters, they're called friends in this game, is you take a d6 and you roll it, add 6 to it, and that's how old you are. In the game, if you get up to being 13 years old, any parent can tell you, you turn into a monster. Mm-hmm. I rolled a 2 on my dice, so that's going to give me an age of 8. There are 3 different age categories in the game, where the younger that you are, the more restores you get during the game, which is a way that you can heal yourself, I believe. We didn't get into that in the last time we played. But so I get a lot of restores, but I don't get other special dice on top of what I'll just get as a dog. And that's because I haven't learned that much. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but they sure have learned some along the way. Alice, on the other hand, she's going to be playing a younger character because that's part of the class that she is, the type of friend that she is.
Yep. And I rolled a 2. Meaning, well, and as a baby, you're capped at 2, actually. So, meaning I'm still 8 years old.
Yeah, because the baby has to be the youngest friend,
yep,
and cannot be older than 8 years old when they start.
Yep.
So, going along with these, the type of friend that you are, there's some text. So, the dog is faithful and fast. They've been a constant companion to the kids on their adventures. Now that they've stepped through the magical land of Yeld and have a voice of their own, the dog is finally more than just a pet. They're a true friend. They have a just remember, which is just kind of like a little role-playing guideline or something to think about.
It's designed... sorry.
Go ahead.
It's designed as similar to a complication or a disadvantage in some other games that would be more complex, because it is not just a role-playing aspect, but something that is negative, and you can buy it off and change it, but it's always going to, as you level and change in the world, it's going to always be a new flaw, in quotes, because it's going to be some type of complication that can hinder certain situations in the way that you role-play.
So just remember, I will always protect my friends. I get the following benefits. I get an extra strong and an extra brave die. The game is built on 4 stats and then secondary skills that add on to that. And so there's 4 stats. You have strong, smart, tough, and brave. So I'm strong and I'm brave naturally. I get special dice of bite, run, and barf. I want to use barf tomorrow. They didn't give me barf the first time we played, but
Yeah,
looking
but I'm not
forward
gonna have
to
as
it.
much food as I did the first time, though. To give you.
And note, the dog only gains the ability to speak while in Yeld. The dog does not have hands, but can hold a single item or weapon in its mouth. While holding an item or weapon, the dog cannot speak. I'll argue that a dog doesn't speak while it's got something in its mouth, but that's personal experience. Maybe it's just not intelligible. Alice, how's the baby looking?
So, I'm going to be playing Ella, the baby, as I did last time. The friend type baby. The baby is young and innocent, far from home, and lost in a strange land. The baby will try hard to be brave as his older friends. My just remember is, I feel braver if you hold my hand. The special that I have is the baby must be the youngest friend and cannot be older than 8 years old. The baby gains the following benefits: core dice of +1 brave and special die of cry.
And we're going to get more into what those special dice do in a little bit. So, after you select your type of friend that you're going to be, you get 5 core dice, 4 of which go into the basics. So you have to have 1 die in strong, 1 die in smart, 1 die in tough, and 1 die in brave.
Then you get a bonus to, you get your 5th one to put anywhere. And then you put your special die from your class or your role into your friend type into the stat line as well. So for me, I have 1 strong, 2 smart because that's where my 5th die went, 1 tough, 2 brave because baby gives me a brave die because I am brave.
So for me, I'm going to have 2 strong, tough, and brave. Strong and brave are natural to the dog. You're going to get a bonus on that, so you'll be at 2. I'm assigning my bonus die to tough. It means I'm only at 1 smart. I'm probably a genius as a dog, but I'm still a dog. Just because I can talk didn't make me smarter. Then after we do that, choose a special die from the special die list in the player's guide, page 68. Special dice represent neat things the friend can do, so choose one that sounds cool. You can have more than 1 of the same kind of special die if you want, but not more than 3. For example, a brat who already gets break special die can choose a second break die. Write the choice down in your description. So, what we were talking about a few minutes ago, Alice, you would have gotten 1 of those, but you shouldn't have gotten both of those, according to this. So that's sending us over to page 68, where we have this long list of different special dice. Some of them are awesome. And these, if you've played Final Fantasy Tactics, a lot of these are going to be things that you could have done in that game. So the first one in the list is the most important one, because it's called Barf. You can only get 1 Barf die ever, because it's just an ability. It's like a feat in D&D. Do you have it or do you not have it? And only a dog can take Barf. What it's going to allow me to do, because I get to barf, is anytime during a fight, after using a food item, the dog can spend an action to barf on the same square of the action board it is standing on. The barf becomes a food item located on that square, providing the same bonus as the original food item. The dog must be on the same square as the barf to use it. Barf cannot be barfed again. So, just like when you're playing Final Fantasy and all of a sudden Leviathan comes up and he's going to smack you for 10 billion damage. In this game, a fairy comes up and she smacks you, and you're like, ooh, that doesn't look good. I'm going to pause this game. I'm going to hit start or whatever newfangled button it is, and I'm going to quickly eat some food. And so that's going to allow me, if I eat food to make myself tough, or if I'm going to take an action and get stronger, I can then go, blah, like a dog does, and then later on, I can lap that back up to get its bonus again. That's pretty sweet, I think. Other actions are beg, bite, black magic protection, break, bullseye, charge, clean, climb, cook, cry, disarm, do things with rope. Child friendly, please. Excuse me, which is an awesome ability. We'll get into the
We'll get to
excuse me in a little
excuse me
bit.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Fight dirty, firebug, fireproof, first aid, fish, gamble, good plan, grateful dead, which allows you to do better things while you're dead. In this game, death is not the end of the story.
Yes.
Headbutt, hide and seek, hungry, I know something about, and they've got a lot of different, that's just kind of like knowledge stuffs. So I know something about animals, or I know something about fire. Jump, karate chop, languages, last one standing, letter writing, lie, lift, nap, negotiate, pain, train, perform, play, pick locks, red magic protection, roll, run, scare, see in the dark, sew, shield bash, shove, smell, magic, snatch, sniper, steal, swim, tease, trade, trick shot, trip, and white magic protection. There's a few other special dice, but those will all be linked into a job. We'll see those in just a minute. But that's the
Yes.
full list of the general that anybody can end up taking.
So, for me, I got my baby one of Cry.
And what does Cry do? Okay, go ahead.
Roll with smart to defend against an attack instead of rolling tough. If successful, the attacker hits the closest friend instead. Does not work if you are the only friend left alive or Cry has already been used on the attacker this round. Cook is the one that I'm going to select as my bonus one. Cook up a storm. Add to smart when preparing meals, picking ingredients, or challenging chefs in a cook-off. As a chore, roll with smart and consult the cooking table for rewards. I feel that's going to work better than hungry. I'm a child chef, and if they question it, I'm just going to point out, go to look at MasterChef Junior and all these other competitions, because you see 7 and 8-year-olds on them. So I can cook.
That is awesome. So that's what you're picking for your bonus one?
Yes, and therefore I will have lots of things to feed you.
Okay, well, with you picking that, I'm thinking about grabbing Hungry myself. And Hungry allows me to carry an extra food item. Normally, I think we can only carry one food.
Yes, one food.
And so I guess that we've been in the Magical Land of Yeld. They've maybe got me a little, like, side bags or something that I can get my nose into to get my own food out.
And I am aware, for all those of you that are old BWKers from our MMO time, that this just made me even more like the Lala that I am, because I am going to food bomb people in this game.
And Hungry, similar to barfing, you can only take once, because it's just, do you have it or do you not have it? I also have, as a dog... Are you a
hungry person or not? Or doggy or not?
Yep, I am a hungry dog. I also get a die of bite, and I get to add that to attacks when I'm biting instead of using a weapon, but I become vulnerable. We didn't get into vulnerability when we did our short demo, so I'm not certain. Monsters who survive the bite attack will roll one extra die if they attack the friend during the same round. So I like going last in a round if I can. But and then my last one we didn't use last time, because normally the game is played on when you get into a combat, you just break out like a chessboard, an 8x8. And you set people up on there, and I get one that's called Run that allows me to move an extra space if I'm taking a move in action. We were being a little bit looser than using that field.
Yes, and just because we are focusing so much on food between the two of us, I'm going to show you what is likely my favorite part of this book, that made me bust out laughing. So, in the book, there are food examples of what can be eaten. So, jerky gives +1 brave dice, hot sausage would give +1 strong dice, sushi gives a +1 smart die, and berry pie gives +1 tough die when eaten. And note that there apparently are vegan options available, because apparently during their first play test, or one of their early play tests, a child asked what if they don't eat meat. And so Jake at that point decided to put into the book vegan options are always available. That way no child feels left out.
I think that the way that he said it was, I can't eat any of that.
I can't eat any of that. So, but yes. And now, after that, the last thing is to make certain you note your restore dice. I've noted myself as having 3 restore options.
Where's that on the sheet, by the way, Alice?
I did not see
it. Or did you just note it? Okay, cool.
I noted it. It told
me too.
Yep. Cool.
I looked around and I wasn't certain, so I just wrote down 3 restore dice.
Awesome.
So After that, the book goes on for a while just talking about the game and such and
Mm-hmm.
how fights go and such. But what we want to do is we want to jump forward to part 5,
Yep.
which is, I'm almost there. Part 5 starts on 35 by the PDF numbering, Alice.
Great.
It is 33 on the book itself numbering.
Okay.
And this is where we choose jobs. Since we're now a little bit advanced, we're not just kids that have wandered into the magical land of Yeld. We get to have jobs. And the jobs, you can be a black mage, you can be a freelancer, you can be an oathbreaker, you can be a shepherd, a soul thief, a white mage, a witch, or a witch hunter. And so the witch hunter and the oathbreaker are going to be kind of your tougher guys. They get bonus dice and tough. And so they are fighters. The black mage, the witch, the white mage, they are going to be more magic oriented.
Mm-hmm.
The freelancer can do a lot of different things depending on how you build them. They get the ability to improvise. The shepherd summons a flock of sheep that can do things with them, which is kind of cool. The soul thief is like a rogue, and I think that's all of the different ones. And so as you're going through, you can learn one of these jobs, and our characters have hit that point.
I'm going to be going with white mage. I do not like the flavor text of the other option that I have. That may be a little more powerful for my build, but I do get dice that I want with white mage. So for the white mage protects his friends with magic based on imagination, warmth, and love. Filled with light and grace, white mages bring the power of white magic to the choked and dying land of Yeld. White mages know their job is to protect their friends as they heal Yeld of the blight of Dragool's vampire followers and the undead plague. White magic came after the fall of the Black Mages. Those mages who survived the Witch Hunters' Inquisition changed the focus of their work from corruption and pain to something purer, something made of light and kindness. This led to the birth of the White Mage, an order of spellcasters with a focus on non-violent magics, healing, and protection. I don't want to be a healer, but it's a lot better than being a black mage in my opinion.
You could be a witch. I don't know how they work, but
yeah, let me go read the witch, because black mage specifically talks about using black magic, dark magic, magic of destruction and evil, harnessing the evil and channeling it, and I don't want to.
The black mage protects her friends by using magic drawn from the night, the cold, loneliness, and the evil places of Yeld.
Yeah.
Black mages are the most destructive of all the heroic jobs, harnessing evil magic to inflict pain and suffering on their enemies. Black magic corrupts, and even the most heroic black mage often fall to evil.
So I do not want to go black mage. So the witch uses cruelty, mystery, and wild magic to protect her friends. The Witch of Yeld can never be caged and captured or controlled. They ride through the night skies of Yeld on magical flying brooms and rain wild curses on any monster that crosses their path. I would get a +1 brave and a +1 smart. And, I get special dice of fireproof and excuse me, which is very nice. We'll get to excuse me later, probably tomorrow.
We'll mention it today, but
sure.
If you're taking that, or
yeah, I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with. Why don't you take a moment, Brandon, and I'll figure it out.
I'm still trying to decide. And so initially I wanted to be, since the text I was given is that, I'll always protect my friends. That was what was just on my sheet when I was past the sheet. And at that point I didn't know that all dogs had that. But so that's kind of the way that, like Alice was doing with the hold my hand. I was trying to protect my friends. I ran up to some squirrels to try and make them run away because I'm a tough dog, and then they pulled knives, and I'm like, I don't want to mess with that.
By the way.
Oh, awesome! I was going with being tough, but when I talked to the writers, they said that you could be, if you want to be the guardian type, a protector, that being an oathbreaker or being a witch hunter is the way to, what models that best. But I'm a good dog. I don't want to break my oath. That sounds horrible. And hunting witches? That's horrible. So, simply based on the names of those, I didn't decide to go with those. And at this point, I'm trying to decide between shepherd, which just kind of sounds kind of cool that you have a dog that has a flock of sheep with it. That honestly is the reason that I'm looking at shepherd, or freelancer, which I'm probably more likely to go with. You said that you're more ready, Alice.
Yeah. I'm going to go with witch in the end. Which changes my I feel braver if you hold my hand to no one understands me, but that's fine. I understand myself. And once again, during play, if we're playing more than a one shot, these can change. I can also, during play, prompt my GM to have it changed based off of the way things go. But these are the ones you start with. And for the witch, I will gain a bonus smart die and a bonus brave die. So +1 brave and +1 smart. This will bring me up to 3 brave and 3 smart. And along with that, I get, for my weapons, I get to choose between brooms and daggers. I get to use brooms and daggers. My special dice will be fireproof and excuse me. Excuse me.
What does excuse me do, Alice?
Okay, so in the game, the mechanic of combat is that you will build chains. So if so we pass initiative from one person to the next. When we pass the initiative, if we've successfully taken our action, the person we pass it to, if they're on our side, gains a bonus die on their action. If they also succeed, they get to chain it to the next person. The and that will give 2 dice. Now, there is a mechanic in combat called excuse me, where the enemy or where the opposing force can say excuse me, and you roll off. And if you, the person who rolls highest on what was it? What stat was it? On brave, will at that point take the next action. So the enemy could break your chain by beating you on a brave test and jumping into the initiative. What excuse me does, and I'm going to go double check this. If you have the page, that'd be awesome.
I don't have the page right now. It's going to be early on, though.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find it really quick, but I get a bonus die to, I think it is just a +1 die, right, Brandon?
Yes, for each time you can invest in that up to 3 times, and you get a bonus die while you're doing it.
So my brave check, when I'm saying excuse me, to interrupt the enemy's chain so that they're not getting massive amounts of bonuses on us, is going to be a total of 4 dice every time I try and interrupt them. That gives us a pretty good chance of taking over the combat and resetting the chain on us. It is a very tactical ability, I feel. So yeah, and that's me. So Brandon, what about you?
So, without even reading the flavor text, between the shepherd and the freelancer, I think that I'm going to go with the shepherd because it's got brave and strong dice instead of brave and smart dice. And I'm just not that smart. That is leaving me very vulnerable to magic, which is a bad thing for me. But that bonus strong die, instead of being smart, sounds really nice to help my bite be worse than my bark. Plus, being able to summon this flock of sheep sounds really cool. I'm still so torn on it, though. Looking at the special dice that they get aren't that great for me. Looter, Throw, Karma, Trailblazer. So I was going to add these dice to their rolls for the same challenge. I think the special dice make me go Freelancer in the end, though.
Okay.
So, freelancers use speed, intelligence, and courage to protect his friends. Freelancers travel the roads and waterways of Yeld, selling their services to those good men and women who can afford them and helping those who can't. Freelancers are well loved for their competence, resourcefulness, and ingenuity, as well as their fur and wagging tails. The freelancer unions have been active since the first kings arrived in Yeld. The first freelancers were explorers tasked with mapping out the lands of Yeld and unlocking all of its secrets. Dogs are good at unlocking things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People from all walks of life joined the freelancer unions. Blacksmiths, farmers, scholars, and warriors all signed up for the promise of wealth and adventure. As time passed, the freelancers settled into towns and cities, working out of towering union halls and providing their services as masters of all crafts and trades. Eventually, the union's reputation began to decline. The quality of their work became shoddier. With each new generation, their services less vital as the old kings grew in power. When Yeld finally unified under a single royal family, the freelancer union saw this as an opportunity to rebrand themselves. The unions took a positive stance on magic, advertising that each freelancer was a certified mage that could assist you with magic-related issues. Once again, the union's popularity boomed, and for years, they were the most admired heroes in all of Yeld. The freelancers of today carry on the traditions of the Yeld's first heroic job, and although the union halls have crumbled and Yeld has seen better days, the freelancers maintain their roles as explorers, crafters, and adventurers, ready to pledge their skill to any good cause, preferably for a bit of coins.
Brandon, would you kindly do me a favor and read my witch description out loud for our viewers in full?
I thought you did that earlier.
I did not read it in full, no. I only read the first paragraph.
Why are
And
you making me?
because I'm feeling my asthma interacting with me.
Gotcha. Witch. The witch uses cruelty, mystery, and wild magic to protect her friends. The witches of Yeld can never be caged, captured, or controlled. They ride through the night skies of Yeld on magical flying brooms and rain wild curses on any monster that crosses their path. The new witches of Yeld aren't like the terrifying monsters of the past. The only similarity they share is in name. Quick aside: the witches from our world that we think of, and witches from Yeld, just like a lot of creatures, they're very different in Yeld than they were in our world. And the fact that we come to their world with this concept of witch is strange. Most people believe the new witches are actually lost little girls from another world who were kidnapped by Dragul during his hunt for the old king's daughter. The people of Yeld mistook these strange children for witches in disguise, running them out of towns and into the dark forests. As the children fought to survive, they grew older, and the magics of Yeld became a part of them. These children took on the witch name and wielded power unlike anything Yeld had ever seen before. These new witches flung curses at fairy soldiers, flew through the night sky on magical brooms, and crafted elixirs and potions from bat wings and bog water. Each of their powers stranger than the last, as if the magic of Yeld shifted and changed to fit what the children believed a witch should be. At first, the people were terrified of this new force in Yeld, but as time passed, they realized there was nothing to fear. All that these lost children wanted was freedom from the vampire prince, and to find a place they could call their own, a place where no one would judge them or tell them what to do. Many hundreds of years have passed since the arrival of the new witches in Yeld, and tales of their wild magic and fierce courage have swept over the land. These witches don't bow or pledge fealty. These witches don't cower or run. They stand and fight for themselves, for their friends, and for their new home. A friend who takes on the heroic job of witch loves the land of Yeld and never wants to leave. Sounds like you. Of course, they will help their friends unlock the door home, but that doesn't mean they'll have to go back with them. To a witch, Yeld feels like home. Here in Yeld, they are a hero that people look up to and praise, while back in their old world, they are just another child. Why go home ever? You're not transmitting.
Sorry, I turned it off to take my asthma inhaler. So yeah, that's the one I'm choosing. I thought that would very much fit.
That's pretty cool. For my new just remember, being pretty good at everything is better than being great at just one thing. I've got it all. I can eat, I can barf, I can eat it again. I've got more food to eat, which I can barf and eat that again. Clearly, freelancer. I get a brave and a smart die. So I am up to 2. I'm now a genius dog. I have decided that. And my brave goes to 3. So Alice, you and I are both really good at saying, excuse me. The freelancer can use swords, axes, clubs, bows, daggers, polearms, staves, and knuckles. And I can use a weapon in my mouth, but I just can't talk. I get special dice of gamble and trade. I love the gambling dog.
That sounds fun.
I get a freelancer costume and 2 weapons of my current rank. My job ability is called Improvise. It gives me 4 dice over the course of a session, and I can use those improvised dice anytime that I want to. They will, increase this roll, but then it's gone for the rest of that session. And my freelancer special die lists are Looter, which allows me to reroll on loot tables once. I can throw any weapon with throw. I roll with my strong dice to make a ranged attack using any weapon. I don't add any weapon dice to the attack, and the weapon will be lost after the attack. I'll have to go pick it up. I have Karma, which I get to reroll any, and we have to select these. These aren't just natural things that we're getting. I can reroll any roll that includes 3 or more dice with a result of 1. So if things get really bad, I'm going to say I don't like that. And then Trailblazer. After the freelancer succeeds at a challenge, his friends can add these dice for the same challenge. So, like, if they let me go first on doing something, I'll make the rest of them better at it because I'm. So that is picking a job. Now, in addition to just getting a job, they want us to pick 4 more special dice. And those can be from the generic special dice or from our job-specific special dice.
And also for my job, because of my asthma, I didn't continue because I was feeling it. But job ability for me, since I'm a witch, I get a witch curse. Anytime a witch makes a successful attack against a monster, she may place a curse on that monster. The monster with a roll on a die for each curse placed on it. On a roll of a 6 of the monster suffers the effect of the curse. The game is a d6 based game. Curses are rolled at the beginning of each round until the end of the fight. So I've got a choice of a number of them. It starts with Lazy Curse, make a monster feel sleepy, effect, monster cannot move on its next turn. Or Sunburn Curse, give a monster a really nasty sunburn. The monster catches fire on its next turn. Rusty Curse, turn a monster's armor old and brittle. Effect, monster rolls 1 less armor die until the end of the round. Sad Curse, make a monster feel sorry for itself. Effect, monsters can't use special dice on its next turn unless they are granted by weapons, armors, or items. Greasy Curse, make a monster drop its weapon. Effect, monsters cannot use weapons on its next turn. Moldy Curse, make a monster stuff, gross, and sticky. Effect, monsters cannot use clothes or gear on its next turn. And then I've got a witch special dice list. These, once again, like Brandon said, I get to choose these. I get to choose one of these. So I've got the option for a voodoo doll. Roll with smart against a monster. If you win, that monster makes an attack or cast a spell against another monster of your choice with its next action if possible. You cannot use move during the turn that you use voodoo doll. Monsters resist voodoo doll by rolling smart. Dive bomb. Add to attacks if you use the flying special dice to successfully defend against an attack this round. You inflict a witch curse on your target even if your attack misses. Witch courage. This only is usable during solo for this one if I choose it. Reroll once any failed attack or defense roll if you rolled less than your opponent, but it requires me to be acting solo. Probably won't take that. And last one of the options looks like it's Magic Potion. Create a magic potion that can be used by any friend. Once per game, roll smart dice to see how many potions you create. Potions can be used before any action during a fight. Roll a die, check the chart below to see the result of the magic. Magic potions count as food items. So if I roll I smart and get 10 or more, I get 1 potion. 18 or more, I get 2 potions. 24 or more, 3 potions. When you guys use it, you roll a d6, and on a 1, it's Death Syrup, lose a tough die. 2, Toxic Sludge, go last next round, but receive the Poison special die for the rest of the fight. 3, Brain Muscle Soup, switch your smart die with your strong die for the rest of the fight. 4, Power Chain Potion. For the rest of the fight, failing your action will not break the action chain. That's nice if you get that. 5, Monster Repellent. Roll 1 extra armor and mage proof die for the rest of the fight. 6, 20-foot tall stew. Add +1 strong and the huge special die for the rest of the fight. You just giant sized. So, I'm going to choose, I think, Voodoo Doll.
Oh, you have to pick the curse when you're selecting it?
No, this is my witch special die. I get one of these witch special dice for Voodoo Doll through Potion. It's a special. Here's a list of specials that only witches can buy. So I think I'm going to choose that. Oh, do we even get one when we get?
Not innately. We have 4 special dice that we can assign, and so those we can level up our specific ones if we want to.
I'm going to use it for that because I like the idea of Voodoo Doll.
You're not going to be the cooking magic potion maker?
I don't like that the potions, I only get 3 potions max, and I have to roll basically really, really well. Though I do like the aspect of the wild magic of the potions. But I think I'm going to go with Voodoo Doll, because I can already see the way that I would use that. Especially going with baby. I have my dolls. I'm a baby with my dolls. So, Voodoo Doll is going to be my first of my bonus that they asked for.
Alright, so we need. I want to actually roll on the treasure table before I start picking out my other dice. How I'm going to spend those, and just see. And when we last left our dog, I had a piece of food that gives me +1 tough, and I also had a shield that gives me 1 armor.
Yeah, I had a hammer.
You had a scroll, and we did have hammers.
I had a scroll, I had a hammer, I had berries, and I had one other food. I forget what the last food that I had was.
The hammer, though...
Candy. I had candy.
I think that we might have had to give the hammers back because didn't we only get those while we were on the hunting mermaids?
They said that they would give it to us because we wheeled and dealed, and they agreed that if we brought them additional mermaids, we would get to keep the hammers. We brought them additional mermaids at the end. We got to keep our hammers.
No, we've only gotten the 1 mermaid. We had to stop.
No, we went into the sewers. Remember the sewer fight? In the sewer fight...
Oh.
So the sewer fight allowed us to bring back 4 corpses, or 4 mermaids, and therefore we got to keep our hammers because we brought 4 back.
Cool.
In the sewer. So
that's very true. So we do have hammers.
Yes. But I cannot use a hammer.
And
so
I had a shield. You had a fire hat scroll. Now I don't know if you get to that had limited charges on it, so I'm not certain. If you still do that.
I believe I still have it because one way or another, I didn't use all my charges. I don't know if it's charged per game or not. But, so, this is our heroic jobs. In this game, as you level, you're going to get higher and higher jobs, just like in Final Fantasy. You'll get different descriptors, and you get to class up to different other jobs that will be synergistic or opposing to what you are. Also, there are things called master quests. Which is master quest? Making it up as we go along. Discover the hidden location of the Thornborough Coven and speak with the witch elders. If good, dice were spent to acquire this quest. Then okay, I'm not going to get into it because we're only playing one shot. But we have quests, and it's kind of cool. And you have to complete quests in order to get certain bonuses, is my understanding, like to unlock certain jobs, similar to quests in video games.
Alright, so I'm going to make my treasure roll and see how I'm doing.
Okay.
So I end up with an 8, which gets me rare armor.
Nice.
So I'm going to have to go and figure out where I get more information on where my rare armor is going to be.
Awesome.
Did you want to make your roll?
Yes, I do.
It's 2d6.
Yep. Ah, my dice. So 2d6. I get 10.
10. You have an ancient fairy rebirth rune, which if you get 3 of those, will allow you to change your birthday on the Yeld calendar. This does not make you younger.
This just keeps you from getting older.
By changing your birthday, as many people in Hollywood do.
Yeah. Birthdays are magical in the land of Yeld, as we've talked about. There are, like, if you hit 13, it becomes a problem. So, what did I get? A magic fairy rune?
A magical fairy rebirth runestone.
Great. Okay.
Okay, so rare armors and shields, rank 1, which is what we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get seashell bracers that have armor and let me swim. Spiky pauldrons give me apparently lots of armor. And 1 scare. Big leather boots give me armor and running. Tooth and skullcap, and all these have, well, not all, almost all of them have this awesome art that goes with them. So I love the art in this book.
It's the art in this game is very cute.
It's armor and Grateful Dead. Boulder Shield is armor and Big Shield. I don't know what Big Shield does. The Ghost Oak is armor and black magic protection. Kite Gauntlets are armor, jump, and climb. Trusty Chainmail Tunic is some armor and some gambling. I've got gamble. That's kind of tempting. Fairy Stone Helmet is a lot of armor and red magic protection. Ninja's Knee Pads is armor and hide and sneak. Did I jump over to rank 2 at some point? Because I see rank 3 coming up, but... Sunlight Buckler is armor, shield, bash, and some see in the dark. And the Black Iron Great Shield is armor, shield, bash, and big shield. So there's a lot of different choices, and I'm not seeing where I might have crested over to rank 2s, but we go to... Yeah, I don't think they were ever intended to be alphabetical. Since I've got some gamble already, taking that trusty chainmail tunic, if that's the correct one. Rare rank 2 armor. So, at some point it does move over to rank 2s. There it is. Very high on the page. Okay. So I can't get that. And I think as a freelancer... I need to check as a freelancer if I can use heavy armor or not.
Cool.
Freelancers... it actually doesn't say I get armor at all.
Oh.
Oathbreakers... Oathbreaker... Okay, yeah, I guess armor is not a proficiency because Oathbreakers don't have it. So... I'm going to say that I want to grab those spiky pauldrons for 3 armor and 1 scare. And they can tell me if I've done it wrong or not.
I'm sure they can. So I'm getting... so I have this thing where it talks about the fact that if I'm using a fly attack, I get a bonus. I'm trying to figure out, like... I guess I automatically get to do fly attacks. But I'm trying to find a way so that I can use my smart to attack more often. Which, that's one reason I took the Voodoo Doll. Voodoo Doll allows me to make a smart against a monster to make them attack each other. But I think that, yeah.
So we have those 4 dice that we need to assign. You've assigned, I know, one of them.
Yes, I'm looking to assign others right now.
And we can assign for a lot of our ones up to 3 in ones that we do already have.
Yeah, have you seen anything that will allow me to attack with smart? Because I haven't.
Well, Voodoo Doll seems to.
Well, Voodoo Doll is,
Gamble.
yeah.
Add to smart rolls to win games of chance during a fight. Replace your core dice with your gamble dice. When you make an attack or cast a spell, if your attack or spell fails, lose a tough die.
I think I'll take that.
I'm a gambler. Why do you want to gamble like me?
Because I'm really smart.
Well, that's only to win at games of chance. You replace your core dice with your gamble. It's not an attack
Okay, yeah, never
during
mind
a
that.
fight. Good plan. A cunning plan can win any battle. Roll with smart at the beginning of a fight and consult the good plan table.
Yeah, I think I'll try that. We'll see what the good plan table does. So. And then I think I'm going to spend the rest of mine in what I have already. I think I'm going to bring my cooking up to 3 with my other 2.
So I'm definitely going to grab some tease dice, at least one. And what tease is going to do for me is it's going to force a monster to take their next action against me and move towards me. I roll it with my brave dice, which I'm good at. I've got 3 brave dice, and I roll it against their smart dice. So hopefully we've got a lot of dumb monsters. Trade, I roll with smart to negotiate and barter for goods. Use trade to reduce the cost of an item in a shop. Shopkeepers resist trade with smart, and if successful, refer to the discount table. I've already got some trade.
My headset is dying.
That doesn't sound good. So I'm going to grab Beg because I'm a dog. And Beg, add to smart rolls when my coin level is none to convince a shop to give you an item for free. You can only use the special die to acquire items that you could buy with the sum coins level. Shops can resist Beg by rolling smart dice.
Nice.
Yes, I thought so. I'm probably going to go and grab something from my class. So I'm scrolling back there. Looter, reroll. Loot tables rolls once. That sounds awesome. Dogs find all sorts of stuff. So why don't I grab Looter?
Fantastic.
Karma, reroll some. Trailblazer, make you guys better if I do something. Throw weapons. I think I'm going to skip those for now. Even though Karma, these 4 dice go really fast as you're looking at things. Karma sounds really great. But I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my bite to a 2-die bite.
Awesome.
And
our characters are complete for tomorrow morning.
I do think so. Heroic job, add listed benefits, 4 special dice, and roll on the treasure table.
Yep. So, please join us and stay tuned and watch our Yeld demo play. We're going to be having some fun tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Kind of wish I was a smarter dog instead of a tougher dog after some of those rolls.